Summers County Board of Education regular meeting, June 16th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. Let the minutes reflect that 3 board members are present. Mrs. Farley is dialed in remotely, and Mrs. Harvey is unable to attend. Hey, Mr. McBride, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, we have approval of agenda for adjustments.
Make a motion that we pull RT Rogers out of the bills to be paid separately.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride to pull RT Rogers out of the bills and handle separately. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote. We will pull RT Rogers and handle that separately.
Under personnel, under leave of absence, I would ask that, under personnel, I would ask that the following be pulled out and voted on separately. Leave of absence, James Farley. Under summer program employment, James Farley and Joey Farley. And under amended effective dates, Benjamin Farley, due to being related to these individuals.
I'll second that. I'm going to try my best here, Mrs. Farley, but you made a motion under personnel to pull James Farley and Joey Farley out and handle those separately for the summer program, and then also to pull Benjamin Farley out and handle him separately as well.
And also under,
Leave of absence.
under, yes,
Okay,
James
and under
Farley.
leave of absence as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Farley, seconded by myself. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote. We will pull James Farley, Joey Farley, and Benjamin Farley out under the respective categories and handle those separately.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. McBride, seconded by Mr. Brogan, to approve the agenda with the aforementioned changes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the agenda with the aforementioned changes has been approved. All right, item 4, student achievement. We have anything for that one? Okay. And presentation, we have just a recognition of our retirees: Belinda Banks, Bo Donahue, Kit Durham, Carolyn Johnson, Kathy Lamb, Charlie Mann, and Rhonda Willie.
All of their plaques were given out at ceremonies at each of the schools earlier in the year.
Did we ever figure out how many years of service among all of them? I'm just curious.
That would be a good number. Yeah.
We appreciate their longevity.
And I saw some of them on
Dedication.
our substitute list as well, so that's a good thing. All right, are there any public comments?
No.
Okay. Item 7,
They can see the presentation.
it's presentation, yeah. Item 7, approval of minutes. We have before us the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride. We approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the minutes from the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting have been approved. Please. Okay, item 8. We'll start with RT Rogers.
I'll make a motion we pay R.T. Rogers bill.
I'll second. We have a motion on the floor by Mr. McBride, seconded by myself to pay the RT Rogers bill. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by a 3-0 vote with Mr. Brogan recusing himself that the bill for RT Rogers has been approved.
I might add, for the minutes' sake, I'd have to recuse myself from that bill being paid for being a conflict of interest.
All right, now we have the remainder of the bills.
I'll make a motion we pay the rest of the bill.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. McBride, seconded by Mr. Brogan, that we pay the remainder of the bills. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the remainder of the bills have been approved for payment. Item 9, old business, discussion or possible action to approve pre-K calendar for the 25-26 school year. We have that in our packet, if you haven't seen it. And this follows our
Follows
regular school
pre-K
calendar.
policy and follows as much of the regular K-12 calendar.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the pre-K calendar.
I'll second. We have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by myself to approve the pre-K calendar. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? I'm getting an echo there, Renee.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the pre-K calendar for 25-26 school year has been approved. All right, item 9B, under old business, discussion or possible action to put policies out for review. We have Roman numeral 5-G-6, the headlights and knit-free policy.
I'll make a motion, we put the policy out for review.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride, that we put the policy out for review. Any discussion? Is this the current policy? It has changes made to it. already. Okay, all right. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote, the policy Roman numeral 5-G-6, headlights and knit-free policy has been put on review. Item C, discussion or possible action regarding central office relocation. Do you want to share, did you send that email just to me? Do you want to share any information with the other board members? While we're Dr. Knott did send me an email, and it just listed kind of some pros and cons of here versus the alternate location. So,
We did look into some other options besides going to
Yeah.
the annex. Or even what would happen if we stayed here.
mhm. Yep.
We can take no action on this and get that information for all of us to look at and take it up next week meeting.
Yeah, if you don't mind, let's just put this on the next agenda, and if you want to print that or add that email to the folder
Okay.
for the board members, and then they can review it as well. If Denise can upload that, then they can review it before the meeting. Right, so we will postpone that until the is that the 24th? 24th. Okay. New business, approved purchases over 25,000.
We got
B, discussion or possible action to approve the 25-26 board meeting calendar.
And it looks good to me. Like, we
Looks good
can
to me
make
too.
changes as necessary if we
Yep.
do have a conflict. So with that in mind, I'll make a motion that we approve the calendar.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride, that we approve the calendar. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by 4-0 vote that the board meeting calendar for 25-26 school year has been approved. County superintendent evaluation, this will be another one. Let's postpone this one until 6/24. I need to just check with the state and see if there's anything we need to do, because you didn't have any goals, and with Mr. Warble no longer here, then I don't think there will be anything we need to do, but let's postpone that till 6/24 as well. And I will follow up with them before that date. Okay. Item D, discussion or possible action to approve pre-K curriculum. And that's the Frog Street. Okay,
There's a separate policy that dictates how pre-K curriculum is chosen, and they followed all of the
okay.
requirements.
Make a motion, we approve the pre-K curriculum.
I'll second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Mr. Brogan to approve the pre-K curriculum. Any discussion?
I was just gonna say, we're not the experts here, and if it meets your approval, then good with that.
They had a lot more to choose from this year than they've had in the past. There's Frog Street, so.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. Minutes reflect by 4-0 vote that the pre-K curriculum has been approved. Discussion or possible action to approve K through 12 social studies curriculum.
See the same thing here, as long as it's meeting what you think we need to have, then I'll make a motion, we approve it. Social studies curriculum.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride to approve the K-12 social studies curriculum. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by 4-0 vote that the K-12 social studies curriculum has been approved. Possible discussion, possible action to put policies out for review. We have Roman numeral 7-G-3 attendance policy.
I'll just state just a couple of things while you're flipping through it.
Yeah, it's getting ready to ask, what was the purpose of this, I guess.
Yeah, so mainly, policy 4110 updated this past September. This puts us in total compliance. And it will mirror the state's attendance policy. It's something that
Our policy hasn't been updated in quite some time. It's very lengthy. I'm not, I don't know every detail of it, just yet, but we've already been employing a lot of this already. So it's not gonna be a tremendous amount of change from how we operated this year, the next year. There'll be some. But as a whole, we've already implemented a good bit of it.
I'll make a motion that we put policy 7-G-3 out for review. Wait a minute, that's not the same. Whatever the policy, whatever the correct policy number is, put that out for review.
Yeah, that's a speed.
Yeah, 7-B-3.
4110.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride to put the attendance policy, Roman numeral 7-B-3 out for review. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? The minutes reflect by 4-0 vote that the attendance policy has been approved to be placed on review. All right, so we have item G. This is a discussion concerning Jumping Branch fifth grade class. We'll turn the floor over to Ms. Newsom.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Knott, who's going to be on the phone,
Okay.
and she presented the slide. Ms. Knott, can you hear us? Okay. All right, we're going to turn it over to you.
All right. Oh, yes, it is.
Okay.
We were on scripture and we had an amazing time, and we all kind of had the same thought at the same time that what if we could keep sixth grade at Jumping Branch next year? There are 12 students who are in the fifth grade class who we would keep. And we wouldn't want to make this like a county-wide thing. We wouldn't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. We would want to do a sort of a pilot program just for Jumping Branch. I am on board with it. The principal's on board with it. The parents are on board with it. And it is, hopefully, fingers crossed, our last year as a, let me get the thing right, CSI school. So this could be like our continuum, our way to make ourselves better here at the end, you know. It's a pilot program. I don't love to read slideshows, but I'm going to read it kind of. It would almost be like a study. Like we would want to see how successful it would be. And if we were wrong, and we'll be wrong, you know, and we would turn it over, but we would like to compare, if we could keep fifth graders next year, compare attendance, behavior, grades, and an overall student experience. So I think it would be beneficial to have like the students do a bit of a self-reflection at the end, and maybe even throughout to like, and even compare that with self-reflections from the sixth graders at the high school, middle school. You see their feelings on the subject as well. Sixth grade is kind of a pivotal year. Like that's when you are maturing in social and different academic ways. So it would just be interesting to study letting them mature in a comfortable environment versus that new environment, which has benefits, but also letting them mature and still be a kid just a little bit longer, you know? So that's another bullet point I'll have on there. We all know that kids have to make a transition to middle school sometime, but why not allow kids to be kids just a little bit longer? Yeah, we have a chance to do something big and different here, and I think that's kind of an interesting process. We don't have to be like everybody else. We can do something cool and transformative, hopefully. Right. If there's no questions, we'll go to the next one. Yes, she did. I am going to read this one to you. I highlighted the big points, but I thought this was really cool. In a highly regarded 2007 study of public school students in North Carolina, a group at Duke University's Terry Stanford Institute of Public Policy looked at behavior to evaluate whether sixth graders were better off in elementary or in middle. So this is about behavior. After appropriate adjustments for socioeconomic and demographic factors, the study showed that sixth graders attending elementary school were less likely to have discipline problems than their middle school counterparts. Moreover, the discrepancy in discipline problems continued through 8th and 9th grades. So this could be like a continuum we could look at. Like after they were done with 6, like what is it like once they go into the different grades? Is this group of students more successful behaviorally and academically? Studies have shown that disciplinary problems correspond with low academic achievement.
And I actually have that, Ms. Knott, I actually have that Duke study if you all would like to see it.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad we found the same one.
Yes, yes. But in that study, elaborating on that, it discussed that the reason that they had more discipline issues was because they were highly influenced by the older students. And we know that sixth grade, like she said, is a pivotal year where they're not quite adult, they're not quite, so being in that environment, they are more influenced by the older students, which leads to discipline infractions.
Move on to the next slide, looping. So looping is when you continue with the same teacher for 2 or more years. And this group of students, it's just been it wasn't planned to begin with. It's been planned here recently, but I have got to continue with them from the second semester of kindergarten all the way through the end of their 5th grade year. And this is kind of a crazy coincidence. Like a once in several decades kind of a chance that I get here. So it would just be fascinating to see what it would be like to continue through 6th grade. I am endorsed for K through 6th. I'm a certified reading and math specialist, and my national board certification is for ages 3 through 12. So there would be nothing certification-wise that I couldn't do with these. I found several studies on looping. Looping improves teacher-student relationships, which I could have told you that myself, but it was cool that the other studies back that up, which in turn improves behavior and grades and test scores. There's just so much trust and community that is built just living with these kids for so long that, I know them and they know me, so there's very few behavior problems, which also leads to us being able to spend more time on task. More engagement, more academic focus can happen when we already have those routines in place, and it's a well-oiled machine in my classroom.
I think
I can individualize instruction to the max because I know these students so well, and I think that's really true. There really are no behavior problems, but there's a few of them that what pushes their buttons and what doesn't. They know what pushes my buttons and what doesn't, and we have it worked out. We're on the same team here. We don't have to relearn each other. We function very well together. And looping provides a really good community. And I also think I know that they have to move on at some point, but why not keep them in this community as long as they can? It's an excellent community that we've built in our classroom between the parents, me, the other teachers, Ms. Newsome, even the 4th graders that we incorporated into our class last year. They fit in really quickly, and I think that's because we had such a good community already built. There was no room for the other students to be behavior problems because these kids had it worked out, we already have a functioning base going on. And that kind of leads me maybe to the next slide. If not, I want to talk about it just a little bit. Well, I'll talk about it a little bit because it's not on the slide. Next year, no, never mind. I won't talk about it yet. Let me talk about this first and then I'll talk about it because I have a whole slide about the plan. Attendance. There is an attendance kind of good thing here. So there are 12 students in our class, and as I know it right now, 3 of those students would not be going to the high school, middle school for 6th and continuing. So they would be leaving the county. If we kept 6th grade at Jumping Branch, we would be keeping 3 students in our county for another year, which we always want to boost attendance in our county. We don't want to drive anybody away. I think this could be an interesting plus for our school that we could even pull in more students, maybe from surrounding counties, or maybe keep them. I think it would be beneficial. It would be a cool, interesting thing that our school is only doing that could be a beacon, driving kids in.
It's not funny thing
Um,
is a parent messaged me on Facebook that would have two kids in sixth grade. And they asked if sixth grade was going to be staying. I said, I don't know yet. And she said that those two kids will be interested in coming to us if we kept.
Oh my
them.
gosh.
Yeah. So it's funny you said that.
That's
I haven't got a
cool.
chance to tell you that.
See, like I think it's an opportunity to be different and attract people who want that different kind of an environment, you know. I want to move on. I already said most of that on that slide. All right, the plan. I was getting ahead of myself a second ago. As far as me and Miss Newsom have planned, like I know we're not the end all be all here, but this is our plan. It would still have to be a split, unless we got a whole bunch of kids who wanted to be in the sixth grade jumping branch, and then, woo. But it would be a fifth, sixth split, and that would be the same group of students that I had last year. It would just be a grade older. It worked really well last year. The group of fourth graders who was with us last year, they're really, really high. It was a fifth grade class last year. They were getting it. It was a great pairing of grades. The upcoming fourth graders are not low by any means, but they are like this group of fourth graders that I had last year are very high. They can keep up with the fifth graders. So the next year's split, it would not be as beneficial as this past year's one. And I think we need to think about all students when we think about that. Like, would it be as beneficial for next year's fifth graders to be stuck in a room with kids who need a little bit more fourth grade level work and they're like ready for end of fifth, sixth grade level work? It would be beneficial for all the grades. The fourth graders next year could be in a class of their own. They could have a teacher dedicated teaching them grade up fourth grade stuff all the time. The fifth graders would be with the sixth graders, would be learning more advanced stuff, which would keep pace with where they are already. Let's see, where was I here? They're the only negative that I can see out of this whole thing, and it's not a negative, is that there would be a need for a fourth grade teacher next year. Because I'm currently slated to have a 4-5 split again. So if I had a 5-6 split, that would mean there needs to be a fourth grade. But this 4-5 split that's slated for next year is 3 students away from needing to be unsplit. So we're 3 kids away from needing to get another teacher anyways. And it would be more beneficial for all the kids involved if we could just lay it out this way. There would still be a split.
26 with the
you know,
possibility that I
give up
know
everything.
of 1 to 2 more coming that have messaged
Oh.
me.
Fourth, fifth,
Yes,
if we just have fifth grade.
yes.
Okay, so you're at 26 with the possibility of,
28 is your max.
okay.
And even then, they're going to have to pay her over 25, right?
For each student.
Right.
Read my-
Yeah.
It would be a win-win. We have the room at Jumping Branch. We have a classroom that we could rework things and make it work and put our fourth grade in there. They could still play sports. I know I'm not going to speak correctly on all this, so the parents might have to chime in here. But I know a lot of the sports extend through sixth grade. It's not like it's a middle school level team or anything. Like I know Aaron, who would play football, would still play on that league that extends into sixth grade. Kevin?
Basketball's the same way. It's through 6th grade.
Basketball's the same way.
Yes.
So we wouldn't be taking away from county sports.
But even if we had discussed it on the 5th grade trip, that even if they did want to play middle school level, the parents are willing to
Mhm.
transport them down to the middle school to
Practice.
play.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then if there's no questions about that, I'm ready for my last slide and then my little presentation's over. All right, so I have one more quote from the same Duke
If not,
study.
If
And
not,
Is
hang
this
on.
one on yours too?
Yeah, no. Mr. Angel has a question.
Okay.
Okay.
If there was a sixth grade class, so we know if we do the 4-5 and sixth grade goes to the middle school, there'll be 26, possibly more. If we were to have a fifth grade, sixth grade class up there, what would be the number of students in that?
At the most, right now, with our current students, it would be 23. No, 10 for next year. Well, 22.
And then how many would be in the fourth grade class?
10.
In
Now, there is a possibility of like one of those that is a 4th grader, possibly being in a fifth grader like next year. So there is a possibility of 23.
They're saying third to fourth, maybe it's 16.
Right,
It won't be 10.
right, right. No, he means for this, at this fourth grade, this current
That's
fourth
right.
grade is only
Okay.
10. Yes, with the possibility of one more. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so
You mean next year's fifth
next
grade?
year's fourth grade,
Next year's fourth grade is a possibility of 17.
17. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Probably didn't explain.
Time travel.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
All right, Ms. Knott.
Oh, okay. All right, so the last little piece I have here, the Duke study also considered test scores. Researchers found that sixth graders in elementary school scored higher than their peers in middle school on standardized end-of-year tests. A recent study in Philadelphia, the school system concurred with the Duke study. According to the school superintendent, the study showed that sixth graders in elementary school performed better on standardized tests than those in middle school, which is just fascinating, you know, like they're in their correct environment, it seems, so they are performing better academically. In response, Philadelphia is reducing the number of middle schools from 46 to 8 and placing the sixth graders in the elementary schools. So Philadelphia did the study, they found the study successful, and now their school system is implementing it in like across their district. I just think is promising, you know, like this could be what our study is.
Yeah, we're willing to
That's
keep
all
data
I have.
and present again next year to show you how the results.
So are you
Yes.
looking for it to be an op- or is it all or nothing?
No, it could be an option. If some students would like to go to the middle school, that is up to their parents. But the ones that I don't think we have any either. Ms. Knott created a group chat and everybody was in favor of this. Some just couldn't be here tonight because of work schedules and out of town. But all 12 were in favor.
I would like to correct that 11 are in favor. I have a difference of opinion.
Oh, you do? Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay. So 11 are in favor, sorry.
If it was an option, then
My child would like to continue with her friends. My child has been a pro rider all these years. So she does have the option already with where we live at. I could put her on the bus and she would go on to the middle school because that's how the bus route runs by my house. But I also have a speech in regards to my difference of opinion. If you want me to. Okay. Sorry. I would like to voice my concerns with these students continuing their education at Junction Branch Elementary. Going to the middle school presents opportunities for a new atmosphere with new teachers, students, and some experiences. Along with that transition to middle school, helps them to build the social skills needed to grow and to branch out with new teachers to engage with and challenge them in new ways and exciting ways. Staying behind could delay the building of their social skills and friendships with other students to a year later than the other students that will already be attending at middle school. Jumping Branch Elementary students view as outsiders, as bonds and friendships develop. I have experience with that. I went from private school to public school. And it is hard to make friends once those friendships are already established. Some Jumping Branch Elementary students don't not experience any transition to any new teacher or anything like that. They continue having Miss Knott for, my child has had her for 6 years and over half the classes have had her. Which can make the change hard as it is, but even harder if the change is delayed and more anxiety can build for them. The sixth grade teachers at Summers County Middle School already have the understanding of this change and are equipped to help them ease into their new journey. At the middle school, they will have the opportunity to explore art, more technologies, more clubs, and they will actually have a gym for once. I have spoke with other educators in this county and other counties, and I have found research through the web on students having the same teacher over the same time. Some students develop boredom over time, disinterest in learning, stagnation, and disciplinary troubles. And we all have our own learning disabilities in English or math. If I was their teacher and I struggle in math, my inability might transfer over to them. As for if they have multiple teachers, that inability would not transfer as prominent. Miss Knott has been a great teacher, and this is not against her, but these kids really need change and growth. They need change to stay challenged and change to stay engaged in learning, as well as gaining new skills such as time management and independence. We all know that they will have to adjust to a bell schedule that they don't have right now at Jumping Branch because they will be changing classes, which is very important to them, or to me, that they understand the task at hand. In closing, I would like to ask how holding the 6th graders back would affect school sports directly after school. Because Jumping Branch is located 20 minutes away from Summers County Comprehensive High School, and some of us parents live even farther away than that, as it takes me an extra 10 minutes to go get my child and then turn around and come back and also take care of another child. As a parent, this could be strenuous to get them to practice and could cause other missed opportunities for these 12 kids. I want to thank you for your time and listening, and I hope you will take my concerns into consideration when making your decision.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So 6th grade sports, you did talk about that, and that was also addressed here. So is that when they're in 6th grade, they're still participating in the community sports? Or is it, so the middle school sports is 7 and 8?
Well, they can do it, they have to, like, I think, when my boys played, I guess it's still the same way. They have to try out for like
Yes.
the team
Okay,
and for the 7th grade team. And depending on how many you're trying out and how, how good they are,
Mhm.
is whether they make that team or not. Now, football, I think they take them all in 6th grade
They take
for the
them
7th and
all-
8th grade.
Right. It's
But you
rare, I think sometimes that they might get a lot of playing time. For
Right.
example, we're
Yeah.
keeping Kyron, just the community, just to give him that extra experience before he moves up to 7th grade.
okay. So 6th grade, they kind of have a choice of they
Right.
can try
Right.
out for
Yes,
high school or they can continue with
Okay.
youth league.
Middle
Okay.
school cheer,
Uh-huh.
volleyball, basketball, football, but most practices for that age group is directly after school.
Right.
It starts at 3:08. And Jumping Branch Elementary does not get out until 3:05.
no, we dismiss at 3.
3.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
But that can be, like you said, it's not an all or none.
Yeah.
So if, like, a parent chooses that their child wants to go on to middle school,
Right.
that's perfectly acceptable to us. But the ones who want to stay, we would like to keep them.
Yeah. And are we able to say something
Sure.
now?
Okay.
I'm a person who doesn't really like change. I mean, and I'm not in the education profession. I don't know all the answers, but I do know, a lot of you know my daughter Kylie. Kylie's an achiever. Kylie was always straight A's, homecoming queen, the Hume Cundiff Award. And when Kylie got into the 6th grade, something major happened. I had this little girl who would wave at the bus if she was afraid we would be late, begging me to let her stay home. I had a C on the first progress report. I had almost a D. And do I know all the answers? No. But do I think we have so many statistics that are on our side to possibly try this and see if it works? I've been in conference calls all day for things for my work, and it's so rare that you find a chance like this where so many people are in agreement. The teacher has all the certifications, the school has the space. It's just a rare opportunity. And, all the pros and cons can be weighed out in different aspects as we look at them. And I just think there is a big step between 5th and 6th. I don't understand that because I don't have, degree or professional. I'm a singer. But I do know that these kids have just flourished so much in this program that we've done so far with Miss Knott as the loop is that what it's called? The Luke teacher. They've just grown so much. You know, Kyron, my son, he started out struggling with reading. Reading was a big issue. Well, he ended as most improved reader after all these years. And as far as sports, you know, I'm sure there's a way that we could work to get these kids to practice in a small community like this. If it's, you know, parents working together, you know, we agree to carpool, we have something in place. That's not a huge concern to me, you know, and I think she made some good points about their social skills. That was something that I did think about. But one thing I noticed, Kylie, my daughter, you know, she's going to be a freshman next year. Kylie really didn't start making those long-term friends until I would say the latter part of 7th grade. I don't really understand that, but Kylie began putting down roots in the latter part of her 7th grade year, really deciding what angle she's going down, you know. So I'm not sure if it's a developmental thing. I'm not sure if it's how we're teaching, but I think it's a great opportunity. And it's so rare, you know, I've been on conference calls all day. We can't decide on the color of a t-shirt, you know, and, you know, I want green, I want yellow, I want stripes, I want V-neck, you know, I want cotton. And when we have so many pros and when we have a instructor who's already certified and, you know, has this math accreditation, this reading accreditation, those are two very big core subjects. And like I said, I'm not a person who likes a lot of change, but on this, I jumped on board because I saw firsthand how my daughter who loves school struggled. You know, I talked to family members that are in the Carolinas and they do it kind of differently. They do 7th and 8th is middle. And so I was talking to her and she said, it's worked out wonderful for us. I know each community is different, but we have so many pros. We have so many things in the bucket that is a good bucket versus one or two things that we're not sure about. And I wasn't sure about the looping, but it worked. That's all I can say. It has worked. So I think it's a great opportunity to take a chance to, you know, report data, you know, to really make this something that we can learn from. And it's so rare that you have, you know, the majority in agreement, a teacher who's certified, a building who has the room. And I think it's an opportunity that we could learn from and that the kids could flourish from. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know Ms. Mott mentioned the CSI, which is what we're on, which
Yeah.
we're, fingers crossed, are getting off this year. But I know we were discussing it with our state person, and she was amazed that that the kids wanted to stay. Like she said, that spoke well about our school, that
Yes.
they want to stay at our school.
Yes.
Because the culture is just there for them. And I have several articles here if you would like to read, but it kind of just reiterates what Ms. Mott said about behavior, attendance, standardized tests, that all those scores are better because they're in that small environment and in that with that teacher, and we know what supports they need. And it is such a transitional year. I don't understand that either, but 6th to 7th is a really transitional year for kids.
So I've kind of been on both sides of this.
Right.
Once as a parent and once as a sibling. When I was a student at Jumping Branch, it went through 8th grade. And my sister, when she became at the end of her 6th grade year, they gave those students the opportunity to come to the high school at that time, because it was 7 through 12 in one building. They gave students the opportunity, if they wanted to in 7th grade, to come down here or stay at Jumping Branch. She was the only one that came down here. I think some of the points you made, she did develop some friendships sooner than some of the other kids that come down. But I also think that kids are a little resilient in that. So I don't know, you know, I'm not saying there's a pro or con either way on that. And I'm not an expert. I'm just talking about my personal experience. And so by the time I became a 6th grader, we had to come to the high school. Now I know when I came in 7th grade, my eyes were open, but it was, you know, our halls were full of 10th to 11th, 12th graders. There was really, you know, there was some segregation as far as which floor you were on, but I might have to go to 3rd floor and, you know, it's full of upperclassmen. So I've been through it from that aspect, but I also remember when Nathan was going into the 5th grade and we had to move the 5th graders to the middle school. And that was also a It
was a hard
was a hard, it was a hard move.
I remember.
But that being said, that's my personal experience with it. I do appreciate everyone coming and the presentation that was made. I also appreciate your comments. This is something that obviously we would have to take some time. We would have to look at it first from a legal standpoint and from a policy, a state policy standpoint to figure out, is this something that we could consider? If from that standpoint, then we would have to look at it from a financial standpoint and from a student achievement standpoint. I think we all want our students, as you're talking about the CSI, we want off of that CSI list, we want to see achievement improve. But we also have to be, good stewards of taxpayer dollars. And so this is something that would probably logistically take some time to work out. And it is just on here as discussion, so that's what we're having. And I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up one way or the other. But I think as a board, we can, we could talk, or I could talk to Dr. Knott, and if we feel like that this is something we would like to move forward with, then we could make it an agenda item and come back and readdress this.
I think, Ms. Cyrus had something, and then, I have a presentation from another parent. You want to hear those two?
I think we have one of them
Okay.
here, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
that is from the one parent that
Yeah.
isn't here right now.
Yeah.
She was running late from an appointment.
All right, I typed mine up because if not, I knew I would ramble. But first and foremost, I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to speak this evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Cyrus, and I'm here as a parent to respectfully advocate for keeping sixth grade at Jumping Branch Elementary. As we consider what's best for our children, not just academically, but socially and emotionally, it's important to remember that sixth graders are still in a critical stage of development. They are transitioning from childhood to adolescence, and during this time, stability and nurturing environments are more important than ever. Elementary schools are designed to meet the needs of the whole child. Sixth graders in elementary settings benefit from consistent relationships with teachers who are trained to support both academic learning and emotional growth. They receive individualized attention in smaller classrooms, and they often have more flexibility to learn at their own pace. Students have shown that sixth graders placed in elementary school tend to have fewer absences compared to those placed in middle school settings. This is due to familiar routines, smaller school size, and strong teacher-student relationships that make students feel more secure and less likely to avoid school. When students stay in a known environment with familiar teachers and classmates, they feel more connected to school and more likely to attend regularly when they feel seen, known, and supported, something that is more common in smaller elementary settings. When sixth grade is moved to middle school, students are thrust into a more complex environment. Multiple teachers, larger class sizes, and exposure to older students who may be developmentally far ahead. That change can be overwhelming and has the potential to increase anxiety, lower academic confidence, and heighten social pressures. In elementary school, sixth graders are leaders. They have opportunities to mentor younger students, develop responsibility, and to build confidence. In middle school, they are the youngest, and that shift in status can be disorienting at a vulnerable age. I recognize there are arguments for moving sixth grade to middle school, including access to more electives and facilities. But I ask that you weigh these benefits against what our students truly need most at the age of 11 and 12, which is a safe, familiar environment that supports their growth, not just as learners, but as people. Let's give them one more year to grow where they feel grounded. Some may say we're trying to delay the inevitable, but I say we're doing what's best for our children. On a more personal level, for those of you who don't know, I have a fifth grader. She's had Miss Knight, through the looping. She'll be going into sixth grade. And then I also have a sixth grader who is going into seventh grade. And I tried to get my son who's in sixth grade going to seventh grade to come and speak, but of course he wouldn't do that. But to hear him and Ansley talk about their experience in school is like night and day. I'm not here to bash the middle school in any type of way, because that's not what this is about. But I can't count the times that he's told Ansley, I was excited to go to middle school, but it is not all that it's cracked up to be. Like, if I could go to Jumping Branch, I would go back in a heartbeat. Between the I know some people here have talked about, you know, they'll be delayed with making friends. You know, I think most of the students, can't speak for all, but I believe most of the students that are at Jumping Branch are in sports or some kind of curricular activities. Ansley, you know, she already has a ton of people and familiar faces that she knows at the middle school. And although I think she would be excited to see them, I worry about her. You know, Carson, very different personality. He's done well in middle school, but I've definitely seen a change. Not wanting to go to school, you know, just the things he tells me he sees and hears, which, you know, is part of growing up. But I feel like if we can delay that exposure, I do think that a year's time does a world of difference in the maturity level in these kids. And I would just like to keep them kids as long as possible and just, you know, give this a shot. If we're wrong, we're wrong, and we'll have to own up to it. You know, the statistics, you know, I don't think they, you know, I looked up all these same studies. We all apparently found the same ones, and the statistics don't lie. And, you know, I would just like for you all to at least take it into consideration, and, you know, we can go from there and reanalyze this time again next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I would like to
Yes,
say something. I also have a middle schooler as well, and Dr. Green can speak to behalf as well. We are very concerned about him going to the middle school, and he has excelled. He has done wonderful. We were very concerned. I was actually spoke to about him being actually in a confined classroom. He is not in a confined classroom. He is with the other groups, and he has excelled beyond imagination. He has had a great experience. And some Monroe County schools actually start their students to middle school in 5th grade. They're already exchanging classrooms and everything. And that's when I went from private school to public school, was in 5th grade when they were in a new atmosphere to develop friendships.
And one thing if I could add, I think that's wonderful that she said that, but it's even more wonderful that, you know, Mr. Angel said, would this be an all or nothing, or would this be an option?
Right.
So if you've had a bad experience in your transition, and maybe your kids are excelling, you know, and you choose that.
I didn't have a bad experience in transition. I feel that the children all need to face the change. And I feel that if they face this change now, when everyone else from Talcott and Canton area, that they will excel.
Yeah.
And develop close bonds. I've seen, even from my niece, her bonds with her new friends when she went to 6th grade. I've seen her bonds with Jumping Branch Elementary students as well. Some of those friendships didn't last, but some of the new ones that she encountered at 6th grade level has excelled. And I'm concerned that if we hold them back, we are lacking them able to create those bonds, because those bonds will already be established by Hinton area and Talcott their 6th grade year.
Yeah, and you know, with you being very vigilant about your view, I think that's what makes the program being an option
Right.
so much better. That way, nobody's confined to do something that they don't feel like they don't want to do. Everybody wins.
Well, not truly, because unfortunately, my child will not be able to go with her Jumping Branch friends as well.
And
Why would I
so-
want to single her out?
We need to go ahead and,
Yeah.
move on, but before we do you gentlemen have any other questions or comments? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Thank you
coming. I
all.
appreciate your
Thank you.
time and appreciate the differing points of views. So, thank you. All right. Item H, discussion or possible action to approve the MOU with the SESC. This is for the bus operator training exam services. We've been using them previously, so this is just a renewal. Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the MOU with ESC.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. McBride, seconded by Mr. Brogan to approve the MOU with the SESC. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Did you aye, Renee?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the MOU with the SESC has been approved. Discussion or possible action to approve Kathy Duffield's summer employment. It's 35 days throughout the summer for ag program upkeep.
It's the same thing we do annually as well, is it not? I'll make a motion that we approve Kathy Duffield's summer employment.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride to approve Kathy Duffield's summer employment. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that the summer employment for Kathy Duffield has been approved. Personnel, item 11. We have before us resignation and retirements, leave of absence, employment service, summer program employment, employment professional, extra duty, extracurricular coaches and volunteers, substitute professional, substitute service. And then we have some amending of effective dates, homebound teachers, reassignments due to West Virginia Code 18A-2-7E, and residency approval. So what we're going to do with these have all been posted, but let's pull out first. We're going to pull out James Farley from leave of absence. We're going to pull out, make sure I get all these, James and Joey Farley from summer employment. And we're going to pull out Benjamin Farley from amended effective dates. Did I get all of those that we needed to pull out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to mute you, Mrs. Farley, and then we will proceed. Okay, so we have before us James Farley for leave of absence from the bus operator, as a bus operator from Bus Garage, 6/24/25 through 8/7/2025 FMLA. Then we have for the summer employment program, we have James Farley, bus operator, effective date 6/23/2025. And we have Joey Farley, bus operator, 6/23/2025. Then we have the amended effective date on Benjamin Farley from July 1 to June 11th of 2025.
I'm not going to call out the names, but I will just simply make a motion that we approve the superintendent's recommendations for the aforementioned names and positions.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mr. McBride, that we approve the superintendent's recommendation for the aforementioned names and positions. Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 3-0 vote that the superintendent's recommendation for the aforementioned positions and employees has been approved. Okay, Mrs. Farley, we are back now. Are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. So we have before us now the remainder of the superintendent's recommendation.
The leave of absence for the other two.
Uh-huh.
There was guidance today from Mr. Morone.
Okay.
About those two. To postpone.
Okay. And do we want to postpone those to the next meeting or until we hear from Mr. Murray? Are we waiting on information from him? Or?
No more information, possibly a meeting with these two.
Okay, all right.
So,
All right. So, I'll make a motion for the leave of absence for Courtney Wills and Harvey Ward that we postpone those until a future meeting.
I'll second.
So leave of absence for Courtney Wills, Harvey Ward. We have a motion from myself, seconded by Mr. Brogan, that we postpone those until a future meeting, after which, let me rephrase my motion. So I'm going to make a motion that we postpone Courtney Wills and Harvey Ward to a later meeting after a meeting has been held with those employees.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by myself, seconded by Mr. Brogan, that we postpone leave of absence for Courtney Wills and Harvey Ward until a meeting has been held with those employees. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that Courtney Wills and Harvey Ward leave of absence have been postponed pending a meeting with those two employees. All right, so we have now still a lot of personnel items here. I am going to make a motion that according to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, paragraph
3.
hold on, let me pull that up real quick. West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, paragraph 2, personnel, that we go into executive session. Motion by myself, seconded by Mr. McBride, that according to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, paragraph 2, personnel, that we go into executive session. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote that we will go into executive session. The time is 5:35 PM.
I'll have it.
Okay, sorry about that. I believe that was an agenda item to do it in the past.
So we put it on the next meeting's agenda.
And it was an item for us to authorize the CSBO to pay the bills required to close out the
Right.
books by June
Right.
30th is
Right.
what it was. So we can, so June 30th is when?
It's a Monday. And the next meeting is the 24th.
If we meet June 30th, we need to just meet once in July. In my opinion.
We can do that. Or we could, yeah, we could do that and then that would get us all the bills paid. If we could do the June 30th meeting and then potentially try for one meeting in July. Because that's close enough to July.
That may be
June
it
30th.
may be a call for Kayla
Yeah,
as
we
well on
may
the
have to
bills.
see bill wise if we can do that. Does the 30th work for you all if we were to change it to the 30th?
It's a Monday.
Well, that, fourth meeting, Monday.
Yes.
We could, if we could still hold the June 24th meeting and we could have an agenda item to authorize her to pay the remainder of the bills, to close the books out. Let's just do that because some of the items we postponed until the June 24th meeting.
Yeah.
So. And we still might be able to do one in July. We'll see how the business goes. All right, any other agenda items you all want to put on that meeting? If so, you can always reach out to Dr. Knott or myself and we will have those added for you. Point of privilege. Renee, do you have anything you want to put out there today?
I'll just say short and sweet. I wanted to congratulate the retirees and I just also want to thank the whole village for such a great 2024-25 school year.
Thank you. Mr. McBride?
Well, I also I didn't get to congratulate each one of them. I was able to attend bus drives along with you to congratulate Bo but I'd like to congratulate all the retirees. I know I've known Kit Thurman forever and, I wish we had more people, like Kit and, Happy Land. We went to school together, it was a great school. And she's been a real asset to our team, as well as all the other employees. I mean, they've been good workers and they've really helped our county. So I'd like to thank each and every one of them.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. Mr. Brogan?
I think we all probably will echo the appreciation of the retirees. We're all aware that they could have well taken themselves to another county and made a lot more money, and so we just appreciate the dedication there. Just want to also mention Dr. Knott. Thank you for picking up the slack where we changed superintendents, and that also, Chad, that put an extra load on you, and appreciate you too, sir.
Well, I'll just take a minute here again and congratulate all the retirees. I'm looking forward to being able to join them soon. But I have a few more years that I'm going to have to work first before I can join the group of retirees. But I just hope they have a long and prosperous retirement time, and they're able to enjoy themselves. Just a quick point of business here. In your folder, you do have your self-appraisal, the policy for your self-appraisal. You all should have all received a link on your K-12 account. And this is just like years past, go in and fill out your self-appraisal. And once you submit it, I will get an email that a self-appraisal has been completed. It won't tell me whose it is. And once they're all completed, then I'll notify Dr. Knott, and she will publish these on our website. So
It was mine.
Deadline is for when?
I want to say June 30. Yeah, no later, July 30, sorry. Need to be completed by July 30 and published to the website by August 15th. So you have a little bit of time, but I went ahead and built the appraisal forms so that you could go ahead and work on those in your free time. So with
I
that,
sent mine in.
okay, thank you, Renee. With that, Mr. McBride, item 14.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn. Time 6:01.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. McBride, seconded by Mr. Brogan, that we adjourn at 6:01 PM. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by 4-0 vote that this meeting is now adjourned.